Do you know what Title IX is?
No.
Do you know what Title IX is?
No.
No.
No. Yes. Yes.
Do you value your education?
Yes.
Yes.
If there wasn't a girls' team, would you play on the boys' team?
Yes.
Yeah. Probably not.
Before Title IX was passed in 1972, women struggled to be treated equally in society. Most of the time, women were told to participate in more feminine activities, such as cooking and cleaning. They were not given the same opportunities as men in schooling and education, and were not accepted into most colleges. Those who were accepted were not usually given scholarships, and any that were awarded were very small in amount. Though girls could go to school, some did not care to attend, and an even lesser number wanted to participate in athletics. They were often told that even watching the performance of a girl's sport was physically unattractive, with the assumption that women would form more manly characteristics, such as big legs and a mustache. Women were even told that participation would likely result in a slim chance at reproduction and marriage. However, a few women, such as Billie Jean King and Kathrine Switzer, continued to participate in the sports they'd grown to love, regardless of what they were told. They began to inspire women all around the country, starting the beginning of something big, women's rights, in not only sports, but also education. But how did this movement affect women in today's society? Well, I came to talk with the principal at Cypress Lakes High School to see what she thought.
Well, I think you certainly see it, particularly in the athletic area, because girls' sports has become increasingly well-funded. There's an increasing sense of equity with female sports, and that's where you see programs being built, where you see facilities that are adjusted to accommodate female athletes. I think women every day get progressively better opportunities. I think you see a narrowing of pay grade gaps between gender. I think the opportunities, the glass ceiling for women has been raised significantly since then in every area, whether it's education, whether it's businesses. Opportunities are much, much more prevalent for women. Actually, it didn't overtly help me with that decision. There were lots and lots of women principals in Texas by the time I ever became one, but I'm sure that 5 years, 10 years earlier, certainly the influence and the influx was there. So subtly, it was probably very influential.
Although this movement seemed like a step forward for most women, many years after it was passed, Title IX started to show its downfall. My mom, Heather Danthoff, experienced one of these downfalls when her high school soccer experience was cut short due to the new development of a girls' team her senior year. I talked with her to get her thoughts on how Title IX affected this experience.
Well, I grew up playing soccer in a recreational league from the time I was about 8 or so with friends from school. And it was technically a co-ed league, but I was the only girl that played in it at the time, but it was fun, and all the guys on the team were my friends, and we grew up together, and we developed a lot of team chemistry. At first, being in the high school league, being the only girl, was a little bit surprising to people, but they just got used to it. But about the time my senior year came around, so this was the early 90s, there was a girls program that they decided to open up because there was enough interest in a girls program. But the school board decided that I had to play in the girls league, and they pulled me off of the boys team even though I was a captain and the MVP from the year before. I would have played before Title IX, even though there was difficulty with women breaking into sports, because I did. Title IX didn't affect my playing experience up until the time that it essentially took me from the team that I was already on.
Although this phenomenon of events ended up being detrimental to the process of my mother's growth as an individual player, the impacts of Title IX have brought women a long way. These impacts can even be seen today when new teams are created into the National Women's Soccer League, an organization that did not exist just a few years ago. The newest addition to the NWSL, the Houston Dash, is beginning their first season strong, building a quickly growing fan base along with their ongoing winning streak in their preparation scrimmages against many big-name colleges in soccer. I even got the chance to come out and see how Title IX affected them by interviewing a few key players and the head coach, Randy Waldrum.
I think it allows me to be here. Without that and having that set, I probably would never have got an opportunity to play in college. And then I definitely wouldn't have the opportunity to be professional.
It's meant the world to me because if I didn't have that in college and had the opportunity to play in high school and college, then I wouldn't be here today. And this has been my dream since I was a little girl. So to be here playing for the country is awesome.
I think so. I was recruited walk-on at Illinois. And I remember walking into my, financial aid with $250 to my name, and I had to do it by myself. And I remember the counselor was like, all right, this is going to be 20 plus to come to the school. And if she would have said there's no way, again, I wouldn't be able to be here.
It took a lot of work. I'm not the fastest, I'm not the strongest, I'm not the most skilled. But I put in a lot of work. I had a lot of things that I had to give up, a lot of sacrifices, but you do what you love, and for me, I put everything towards soccer and gave up a lot, but it's paid off.
Yeah, it's really hard, and at UNC they do a good job of getting you tutors and things like that, talking with your professors, but it definitely is a challenge, and we pride ourselves on being really committed to the academic side, but it's hard when you're traveling and playing.
Yes, it's a lot of schoolwork, lots of traveling, lots of soccer, but I think I had great coaches at Florida State who, emphasized the importance of academics, and, growing up that was something that my parents always emphasized too, so I think I was pretty well balanced and did a good job of.
Well, obviously, it's been a huge impact in this country because of just in our sport alone, you can see the growth of the women's game since 1972. So I think without that, we probably wouldn't be the power that we are with our U.S. women's national team. And I think all of these young women that are playing our sport right now wouldn't have had those same opportunities. Just the willingness of the women to want to learn and want to be successful, and the competitiveness that they've shown. And I found with the men at times, by the time they got into college, they often thought they had all the answers. They already thought they were there. So I just found the rewards much greater coaching on the women's side. Well, I think the importance of the pro league is really probably first and foremost is to ensure that we continue as the best in the world in the women's game. I think the other piece of it is we need a pro league just for young players to aspire to have somewhere to play beyond college, because over the years that I've been in the college game, I've seen so many young players graduate and then all of a sudden there's this big lull in their life because it's like, what do I do now?
As a result of Title IX, women around the world have been inspired to go out and do what they love. With so many opportunities that have been opened up by this movement, girls can aspire to be the best that they could imagine and make their dreams come true with some hard work and a lot of faith in themselves. Thanks to Title IX.